Hare Krishna, good morning, everyone. We're very fortunate to be here today to continue our study of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And we are on a very exciting chapter, which is full of drama, heroic activity. And of course, Krishna is our hero. We're reading from 10th canto, chapter 53, text number 3. And this morning, during the Guru Puja, I actually had it was a very beautiful thought that I had. I don't know, Bhir Krishna Goswami could tell me if it's proper in line, but the thought I had this morning was, I was meditating on how the messenger in this pastime came one-pointed to deliver Rukmini's message and didn't waste any time along the way and didn't change the message. So as we were doing the Guru Puja to Srila Prabhupada, I was meditating on how Srila Prabhupada took the message that his spiritual master and instruction had given him to bring this teaching to the West. And he also was very concerned, like it says in Bhagavad Gita as it is, that he didn't change the message. Like the messenger read the letter. So Prabhupada basically gave us the message. Of course, he gave it in a way that was digestible. So I was thinking how Prabhupada was the messenger. And the same way the messenger understood that this was very important, it was very timely, there was no time to waste. Prabhupada understood that this was a very important message and there was no time to waste. So that was just my reflection this morning during the Guru Puja. Are there any cartels? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivadi Hari Gopijana Vallabha Girivadi Hari Yasodhana Dana Prashadana Jana Yasodhana Dana Prashadana Jana Yamuna Tera Panachari Yamuna Tera Panachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Gopijana Vallabha Girivadi Hari Yasodanandana Rashajanaranjana Yasodanandana Rashajanaranjana Yamuna Tera Panachari Yamuna Tera Panachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Shirare Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pavakaturya Stotra Satashishimat. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda Ki Jai. Nam Acharya Sridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radhakund Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shri Vrindavana Dham ki jai. Shri Mathura Dham ki jai. Shri Navadvip Dham ki jai. Shri Mayapur Dham ki jai. Jagannatha Swami ki jai. Yamuna Mai ki jai. Gaga Mai ki jai. Srimati Tulasi Devi ki jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tam Anisha Unmacha. Tam Anisha Unmata. Tam Anisha Unmata. Tam Anisha Unmacha. Rajan Apasadam Mirde. Rajan Yapasadam Mirde. Rajan Yapasadam Mirde. Matparam Anavadyangam. Matparam Anvavadyangim. Matparam Anvavadyangim. Edarasagni Shikam Eva. Edarasagni Shikam Eva. Edarasagni Shikam Eva. Tamanivasya Unmacha. Rajana Pasadim. Rajana Pasadan Mirde. Matparan Avadad Dangim. Etarasogni Sikam Eva. Devotees. Tamanavisha Unmacha. Rajanya Pasadan Mirde. Matparam Avarangyangim. Edasogni Sikam Eva. Tamagyani Unmata. Rajana Pasadam Mirde. Mapadamanavajangim. Edasogni Sikam Eva. Ajanta Amnite. Mapadama Varyagyangim. Edasogni Sikam Eva. Anyone else? Tam Shi Anishe. I will bring here. Unmacha. Churning up. Ranjanya of the royal order. apasadan, unfit members, mirde, in battle, mat, to me, padam, who is solely dedicated, anavaja, unquestionable, angim, the beauty of whose body, irasaha, from kindling wood, agni, of fire, shikam, the flame, eva, as. Translation: she has dedicated herself exclusively to me, and her beauty is flawless. I will bring her here after thrashing those worthless kings in battle, just as one brings a blazing fire out of firewood. So you can repeat. She has dedicated herself exclusively to me, and her beauty is flawless. I will bring her here after thrashing those worthless kings in battle, just as one brings a blazing fire just as one brings a blazing flame out of firewood. Purport by the followers of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When latent fire is aroused in wood, the fire bursts forth, consuming the wood in the act of manifestation. Similarly, Lord Krishna boldly predicted that Rukmini would come forth to take his hand, and that in the process, the wicked kings would be burned by the fire of Krishna's determination. Excuse me. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Shrimate Hridayananda Goswami Iti Namane. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashdashatarine. Om Gana Timarandasya Gana Gana Shalakaya Chaksu Militanyana Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the assembled devotees, unto His Holiness Bhakti Krishnadas Goswami, and my seniors like Drista and Apurva, and all the other nice devotees here. And I pray that I can speak some words that will reflect our previous acharyas and also will give some enlightenment to the devotees. So I will continue now, first reading the commentaries that are short, and then we'll discuss. Actually, Srila Prabhupada gave us this Srimad Bhagavatam class, or the Bhagavad Gita class, as a time to churn over the topics. Like we read these different verses or these topics, Prabhupada gives his purport, or the devotees do. And then when we come together and we discuss them, in that way we have newer and newer realizations. So that is why the importance of association is important with devotees, because in the association we can deepen our realizations and our understandings. This is a very beautiful commentary, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, 1053.3. When the flame lying dormant in the wood bursts into flame, it consumes the wood. Similarly, Rukmini, covered by the evil family members like Rukmi, will eventually burn them up. They left out a word. I will only be the stimulus for that. There was a word left out. So before going on to Jiva Goswami, I'm just going to comment on this. So we all have seen that when there's wood, if we're having a fire jaga, there's wood, you put a little bit of ghee, and a match, and it bursts into flame. And sometimes even two pieces of wood can rub together and cause a flame. And in that process, the wood is burnt up. Or we know during the dry season, there can be a fire that starts taking place in the mountains, like in California. And in a short period of time, all the trees are being burnt by this flame. So here, Krishna's basically saying that Rukmini is being covered by the desires of her evil family members, like Rukmi. And they will burn up, but they will only burn up because of their own evil desires. It can appear that Krishna is causing it, the death of Rukmi or so many things, but it doesn't cause death, but it would appear that way. But what actually takes place is it's their own anger, envy, and narcissism that cause them to burn. So here it speaks about Rukmini being covered by the evil family members like Rukmi. So someone new to the Mahabharata, this tradition, might think, oh, how could someone like Rukmini, who's so beautiful and so qualified and the goddess of fortune, being the same family as someone like Rukmi? How could this possibly have happened? So we understand from the history of the Mahabharata, which goes way back, is that the Asuras and the Devas were actually fighting with each other at many different times, who would win. And then it became to the point that they were given the instruction that they should actually take birth within the kings, that they should be on the side of Dharma, that the demigods are always winning because of Dharma. So these different demoniac forces, they started taking birth in the families of the royal order. And these were, like, for instance, we'll come to about Shishupal. Shishupal is like, he's in the family of, Chedi. These are very high families. But these demoniac personalities, they actually took birth in these families in order to create an interglacial war, so to speak. And they were using the earth kind of as a place. And as I explained before, that at that time, the earth was just being ruled by very peaceful kings. So they saw this as a place to take over. So Rukmi also, he appears in a very wonderful line. And his father, unfortunately, out of fatherly affection for him, didn't stop his activities. Everybody wanted Rukmini to marry Krishna. Krishna was suitable. Rukmini wanted to marry him. Everyone wanted that. But Rukmi, he wanted, for political reasons basically, he wanted his sister to marry his good friend, Shishupal. And so he, as an older brother, made an arrangement because that was a tradition. The older brother could make an arrangement. And Rukmini was very unhappy with this, as we've read. She was extremely unsatisfied with this idea. She'd given her heart to Krishna. There was no one else. And that was it. So as we read in the previous verses, she came up with a strategy how Krishna could steal her. And so she had it all planned out. And she sent that message to Krishna. So here we see this as everyone wants to go to the movies and they want to read a novel, but what a love story. Rukmini hearing about Krishna, falling in love with him, her brother wanting to stop the whole thing and have her marry Shishupal, which, as I said, was political because he wanted the kingdoms to unite. Shishupal also wanted to unite with the different families. So Rukmini is just being covered by this weight of her brother's authority, and her real beauty is being covered like that. So she can imagine the anxiety she's feeling. She sends this Brahmin a message, but will he make it in time? will the Brahmana messenger make it in time? And will Krishna get my message? And will Krishna accept my message? Will he think it's too much trouble? But we know that Krishna ran away from Jarasandha because he knew that there was an urgent business to do. But she's thinking, will Krishna accept? And if he does accept, will he make it in time? Will there be obstacles along the way? So there's a lot of anticipation, which makes this a perfect drama. There's so much anticipation. And then Krishna himself is feeling anticipation. He himself is feeling anxiety. And then that gives him the energy, becomes a hero. I will go, and I'll go and I will steal her, So he's also getting all focused on what he's going to do. And he's following the instructions of Rukmini, actually, how to accomplish this goal. And so she'll tell him, go in alone. Don't go in with your army. And again, we want to stress that it says, Rukmini, covered by the evil family members like Rukmini, will eventually burn them up. I will only be the stimulus for that. So what other pastime does someone's evil intentions end up burning them and their whole kingdom up? We know that's in the case of Ravana and Lanka, because they offended a chaste woman. They tried to steal Sita from Ram and commit offenses, and their own sinful activity was the destruction of their kingdom. And even Ravana was told that, let go of Sita. If you don't let go of her, it'll destroy everything. So that Sita again appears, and because she's eternal consort of Vishnu. So we'll read the next commentary by Jiva Goswami. I have been waiting in order to understand her desires. Now I will bring her here. The Brahmana said, until my coming here, you have ignored her, however. Krishna says, no, I am attracted to her wonderful qualities. With this intention, he describes her. She is dedicated to me, mat param. By that quality, all good qualities are achieved. So Krishna is saying, I was just waiting to know what are her desires. So how does this apply to our life? Sometimes in our life, we'll think, where's Krishna? All these things are happening. Where is Krishna now? But Krishna's waiting to see, what is our desire? What is our desire? And then he will act. And also Krishna likes to sometimes act at the last moment, to come in at the last moment and to lift the difficulties. So the Brahmin is thinking, well, until my coming here, you have ignored her. And then Krishna says, no, I'm attracted to her wonderful qualities. And then he describes her. But what is the quality that is attracting Krishna? And this is what the message is for us. The quality is, she is dedicated to me, mat param. By that quality, all qualities are achieved. Yasati bhaktir bhagavati akinchana, sarver gunais tatra samaste sura, harav abhaktasya kuto majaguna, mano ratana sati davato bahi. The devatas constantly dwell with all good qualities in that person who has pure bhakti for the Lord. There are no good qualities in the non-devotee who chases after temporary material objects with desire for material pleasure. And that's Srimad Bhagavatam 5:18-12. And I'm just going to jump over there and then come back. Okay. Just take 1 second to open it up. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam 5:18. We see here how the commentaries are always bringing up points to substantiate their words. So now we're going to read from Srila Prabhupada. he says, it's the same definition, but I'll read it again. All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the supreme personality of Godhead. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Even if he's adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How could there be any good qualities in such a man? So this seems like a harsh statement, but it's also, we can understand how the modes of nature are always changing. And I remember the example I was given when I was a new devotee, that it was like a Ferris wheel. And sometimes you're in the bottom, sometimes you're in the top, sometimes you're in the mode of goodness and you're acting wonderful. Sometimes you're pulled down to a lower mode of nature. As explained in the next verse, Krishna is the original source of living entities. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15:7, wherein Krishna says, Mamivasto jivo loke, jiva bhuta sanatana, manastasastya prakriti stane kashyati. The living entities in the conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. All living entities are part and parcel of Krishna, and therefore when they revive their original Krishna consciousness, they possess all good qualities of Krishna in a small quantity. When one engages himself in the processes of devotional service, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Archanam Vandhanam Dasyam, Sakam Atmanivedadam, Srimad Bhagavad 7:5-23, one's heart becomes purified and immediately understands its relationship with Krishna, then revives his original quality of Krishna consciousness. So here we also see that point that often comes up. It's just like how fire is inherent within the wood. So actually our devotional life, who we are, and our relationship with Krishna, it's inherent. And it's a matter of, through the process of devotional service in the association of devotees, and through steady focus and determination and practice and one-pointedness, like Rukmini had one-pointedness. So we stick with that one-pointedness, then gradually our nartas will be burnt away and our heart will be open. Krishna will come and pull us to him. Back to the purport. Previously, she described his qualities and form. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:52-37. Her qualities and form are similar to that description. So she also has similar qualities as Krishna. They're a very good match. Actually, when arranging for marriages or compatible relationships, there must be similar qualities so that there's not all havoc and one can practice devotional life. I will crush the royal misfits, apasadan. This shows his determination to protect her as stated. So now Krishna is like in a heroic mood and going to crush those misfits. And he's determined. He calls them misfits since they have no shame, though constantly conquered and insulted, and they had not given up their foolishness. I will crush them in battle, not by disappearing through Maya. So he's going to crush them. And when he says not by disappearing through Maya, it's that often those that are demoniac, they use these like asuric type mystic powers where they'll be fighting and then they disappear. And they're hard to find. They'll go up on an airplane, then they disappear. So he's saying, they just keep coming back and back. This time I'm going to crush them and I'm going to face it face to face. This shows his powers. Just as sacrificial fire is covered by wood, but shines forth by effort, so with effort I will deliver her. So Krishna now, he's saying, I'm going to deliver her by effort. it is understood that he gave an elaborate message as an answer. So Krishna just didn't think, oh, don't worry, I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There's no problem. No, but he gives a very heroic, elaborate, dramatic message to come back to Rukmini. And then Rukmini herself, being of Kshatriya blood and determined to be with Krishna, she will also become fired up. And as we'll see later on, she'll actually take the reins of the horse and help drive the chariot. So this is the prowess of Rukmini. And as I've spoken previously, Rukmini is very much like in the mood of right wing, like Chandravali. So normally she's very submissive to Krishna and very chaste. But when she needed to be like a lion, she was like a lion. And I've mentioned before, Prabhupada said that when the devotees go in Sankirtan, they should be like lions, but then back with each other. There should be this gentility. So now we've spoken today, these topics, and who is Shishupal? Shishupal actually is a relative of Krishna's, was Krishna's cousin. And we read about it in the Mahabharata. He was Krishna's cousin from the maternal side, actually. It was from the maternal side. And his mother was related to Kunti, to Kunti, and also to Vasudeva. And it explained also, Shishupal was in a former existence, Hiranyakasipu, who was killed by the divine guardian creation. And he was next the 10-headed Ravana. And also it is explained that he appears as a son of Damagosh, the king of Chedi, which is the aunt, Vasudevi, aunt of Vasudeva. So we can understand that this is not an ordinary person, because we know that there was a gatekeepers, Jai and Vijay, and they were cursed to have to take birth. And so they took as these demons to fight with Krishna. Shishupal was born with 3 eyes and 4 arms. So when he first was born, this family was very freaked out. They were going to get rid of him. But then there was this voice from the sky telling them not to. And it was forecasted that all the extra arms and extra eye would disappear when a certain person would take the child Shishupal into the lap, and that he would eventually die in the hands of that same person. Lord Krishna placed the child on his knees, and the extra eyes and arm disappeared. Shruti Devi told Krishna about the heavenly voice, which said that Shishupal would die one day in the hands of the person who had held him in his lap. She made Krishna promise that he would pardon Shishupal 100 times before he kills him, and Krishna agrees. She also told him, after her son dies, he should go to heaven. When Yudhisthira decided to make the Raja Yagna, at that time, Shishupal insulted Krishna by saying that Krishna was a coward and insignificant to be honored as an emperor. Later, Krishna kills Shishupal after forgiving him 100 times. So by this time, Rukmini and Krishna had been married, and Shishupal always had this very upset that Rukmini had been stolen. Plus he had a natural enmity towards Krishna. It was his swabhav. And so when Krishna was given to speak in the assembly, then Shishupal, he couldn't stand it. Like, why is he being asked to speak when heroes like Karna are here? Dhritarashtra is here. This personality is here. Why is Krishna? And so then he started just saying he's nothing but a coward. And he was so nasty. Everybody was just like holding their ears, just hearing the offense. So it was his own offense that burned him up. So what is this lesson for us? We have to be very careful not to commit offenses, because our own offenses burn us up. And sometimes we might think like, why am I feeling separation, or why can't I be with my guru all the time? Because if we're directly with people all the time, even other devotees, we might misunderstand them. Oh, they're doing what I'm doing, they're taking prasad, or they're doing this or that. And we start judging them, considering our guru to be an ordinary person or the other devotees just to be ordinary people. So we have to always be very careful to keep some healthy formality. And that's why there's the etiquettes within devotional service. Those etiquettes are actually meant to be a protection, where one offers respects to the spiritual master, one offers respects to the sannyasis, to the senior devotees, to the parents. All these things are explained and showed to us by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like we know the story of Ishwara Puri and Ramachandra Puri. One of them served his spiritual master humbly, and the other one tried to instruct. And so their outcome was different. So there's all of these pastimes are meant to, on many different levels. Krishna's pastime here is very romantic, it's very loving. If we hear these pastimes, it will rid us of our own desire for our own romance. And at the same time, there are very good instructions. Now for me, when I hear this, I know I'm not on that level to feel that way, but I have to admit, when I hear this, I just think about, but what about Radharani? She wanted to marry Krishna. How is she going to feel when she hears that Krishna is married Rukmini? So we know that all these personalities are expansions from Radharani. But at the same time, there's a pastime. And now we've been celebrating Rath Yatra. Just went to one yesterday. There was one elsewhere. There's Rath Yatras everywhere. And those Rath Yatras, it's the gopis, Radharani, trying to bring Krishna back to Vrindavan. So as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we also have that affinity towards the residents of Vrindavan. So I'd like to stop now and thank you very much, Justa, for giving me the opportunity. I know I'm not really qualified to speak, but by speaking, it's for my own purification and helps me to focus more on what's important. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Well, we have to understand that those activities have to be done purely. And at the same time, we have to have that determination that I might not be experiencing this now, but just as the fire is within, and when Rukmi is removed, the fire bursts forward. So we can understand that by regularly following the practice, our anartas, which are like Rukmi, will be removed, and that fire of devotional service will act, and it'll burst forward. And Maya always tries to convince us through our mind that it's not working. And then we think we have to do something else. Like I could think, oh no, this isn't working, or that's not working, and someone could call me up, why don't you try this or do that, or, But then I think, oh, but I'm not doing the basic thing that Prabhupada gave me. Like, am I really following what Prabhupada gave me? Am I being regulated in my devotional service? Am I rising early? Am I going to the Mangala Arti? Am I rendering some service? Am I offering obeisances? Am I giving my heart when I worship the Guru Puja? Am I worshiping Tulsi? So not routinely, but with a mood of devotion. And it doesn't mean one has to physically be in the temple to do it, but am I always doing those devotional activities with the right mentality? And then it'll act, and we also can't see ourselves. Like sometimes Krishna will show us, excuse me, this is where you came from. And it's shocking. If we see where some of us, not those that have good samskaras, but some personalities like myself who had bad samskaras, sometimes Krishna will give us a memory, and then we're like, oh my gosh, it has worked, and I have to just keep going. And Prabhupada is so positive. That's the whole point, too. If we keep hearing these positive things of Prabhupada, it'll encourage us. If we always hear the opposite, then we'll just feel discouraged. Thank you, Drishta.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Dipan Dikayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam
Tamaham Bhajami Govindam. Namaho Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Saminiti Domine Namaste saraswati devi gurmani vacha neke sesha shunyavati matsya jagade sacharanay. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Jai Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya, Goloka Nana, Goloka Nana, Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Sri Radhe, Jai Om Vishnupad.
Darpanam Marjanam Bhavamahadavani Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vijayavada Sadhu Jivanam. Thank you. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Prapinam Pranamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. What incredible garlands.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Ritam Nenakala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishami Hajjani Nanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Suhishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Hoitaki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Gribaya Davabada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrashim Vachintaya Nayanam Galadashu Daraya Varanam Gadgadu Rudaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanamagrahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Nimishena Chakshusha Brabashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahena Me Ashlishava Padamitam Rastumam Adarshanam Marmahata Karotuva Yatatatava Vidadatu Lampato Mat Prananatastusa Eva Napara. Victory to Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than a straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I